When fudgy brownies and crispy buttery pie collide, you get this gorgeous fudgy chocolate brownie pie. Deep chocolate flavors, simply divine, and that nice buttery flaky crust. Hey guys, I'm Nick, and on this episode of the Scran line, I'm going to show you how to make a delicious fudgy brownie pie. Now let's get stuck into the recipe. What we're going to begin with is our pie crust. You're going to need to make this 2 hours in advance because it needs to go in the fridge to chill. I'm not going to show you how to make the pie dough because I've got a separate video on how to do that. So check that out on my YouTube channel. But I've got the recipe on my website at scranline.com. Once you've chilled your dough for 2 hours, you're going to roll it out and pop it onto your pie dish. I'm using a 9-inch pie dish. I'm using the footage from the separate video, which is the glass pie dish, but in the video for the fudgy brownie pie, I'm going to be using a metal pie dish. It really doesn't matter, but I just wanted to point that out just so you guys know why it's different. So once you've rolled that out, you're going to lift it up into the pie dish. Don't stretch it, otherwise it'll shrink as it bakes. Do a little pinch decorations around the sides if you like. Again, if you want a more in-depth on how to do this, the separate video goes way more in-depth, and it's got a whole bunch of great tips and tricks on how to make pie crust at home. This is going to go in the freezer for 15 minutes. It's nice and cold. We're going to line it with baking paper and foil. Then we're going to add our baking beads. I'm using dried chickpeas. This is going to go in the oven for 15 minutes. We're only blind baking at this point, and we're going to do the rest of the baking with the brownie batter in there. So I just wanted to show this step just so you guys know what you need to do before you start making the brownie batter. Let's move on to making the brownie batter. It's really simple. Add your butter and chocolate to a heat-proof bowl. Microwave that for about 15 seconds at a time, stirring each time until it's melted and smooth. Set that aside to cool slightly, not completely. Add your eggs, an egg yolk, both of your sugars and vanilla extract into a mixing bowl and whip that up until it's pale and thick. Now, adding an egg yolk in here is going to make your brownies nice and extra chewy, so that's why we add that in there. Once you've got a nice pale, thick mixture, you're going to add that slightly warm chocolate in there. We want it to be slightly warm because if it's cold, this mixture is going to be really thick and hard to deal with later on when we're pouring it into our pie crust. So make sure your chocolate is slightly warm. Mix that in there, scrape down the bowl, and you're going to sift in your flour, cocoa powder and salt. Adding cocoa powder and melted dark chocolate makes these brownies, or the brownie filling, ultra indulgent and chocolatey. Once that's really well combined, you're going to pour it into your pie dish. This is going to go in the oven, but not before we cover the outside with some foil. And the reason we do this is because I made this recipe without doing this, and the pie crust on the top burnt by the time the brownie batter was baked. So you want to cover it to give the brownie butter enough time to bake properly, but also so that the top of your pie doesn't burn and it stays nice and golden. This is going to go in the oven for 40 minutes on 170 degrees Celsius. You get that nice, shiny, crackly brownie top. Slice into it and you can see it's nice and fudgy on the inside. Serve it with some cream and some chocolate flakes and you're good to go, guys. This is a great recipe for chocolate lovers. Kids will love this. You get a nice buttery crust and a nice fudgy brownie on the inside. And the cream, which is my chantilly cream recipe, again, that recipe is a separate video and recipe on the website, scranline.com, is a perfect complement to this pie because it's not overly sweet and it kind of cuts through the sweetness of the brownie. If you want to grab the recipe for this brownie pie, it's on my website, scranline.com. Link for that is in the box below. Thank you so much for watching. And before we end this video, I want to quickly remind you, I have a savory recipe YouTube channel where all my savory recipes are. My latest recipe is how to make oven baked crispy chicken tenders. These things are amazing and they're kid friendly, family friendly, really easy to make. Recipe for all of this is on the same website, scranline.com, so go and check it out. I've left a link down below for you guys to go and visit my new channel and subscribe. I'll see you all on the next episode of the Scran Line. Bye!